Hey class, welcome to chapter 8. So chapter 8 is just a little mini chapter on odor management. Odor is something that's come up in almost all the units we've looked at so far in small ways, and there's some common approaches to odor management used in all of them. So this chapter is just going to look at what are some ways to manage odor from the waste industry in general. So it doesn't take much digging to find examples of where odor has caused problems for different types of waste facilities. So it doesn't matter if it's a landfill, if it's a composter, if it's an anaerobic digester, and mixed waste and materials recovery facilities to a lesser extent. They all have the potential of having odor problems, and they all need to manage odor to different extents. So there's just a sampling of headlines on the screen here of different things. And these are all kind of in Canada of different examples of where odor has caused problems. And the worst problems odor can cause is just having a facility just shut down completely. And that's the example in the middle about the Hamilton composting plant, which was forced to close because of odor issues. And as the headline notes, that food waste can no longer be treated through a better purpose of composting, and it's going to landfill, where we're going to have all these issues with landfill gas and landfill odor down the road and leachate and things like that. It can also cost a lot of money. So there's a headline from the London Free Press: the compost plant in London was fined a few times for different odor offenses. So there's a real dollar cost. In years where we've been together in person, we've been able to go to different waste facilities and experience the odor firsthand, and there's really nothing more powerful than being up close to high odor materials and processes to impress upon you the importance of controlling odor. But many of us in Waterloo have experienced odor around the Waterloo landfill if we live near there, or we've visited some of the buildings around the boardwalk. And you know that people complain about that. It's a big concern for the landfill operations. They have a whole liaison committee that's very much focused on managing the expectations and communicating different things with the public, especially related to odor. So hopefully you can appreciate a little bit from your own experience and some of these examples of what odor can do for facilities, the importance of managing odor in whatever waste facility you're in. In Ontario, interestingly, odor is, even though it's not something that will necessarily kill you or have toxicity, it is still regulated alongside other contaminants, which do those sorts of things. So in the definition of contaminant, solid, liquid, gas, odor, heat, sound, vibration, radiation, or a combination that results from human activities. So it's right in there with groundwater contamination and air pollution. It's one of those things that the Environmental Protection Act is concerned about. And some of the adverse effects defined by the Environmental Protection Act, include things that we traditionally attribute to different, like physical environmental contamination of surface water and groundwater. But down at the bottom of the list, we have rendering property unfit for human use, loss of enjoyment or normal use of property, interference with the normal conduct of business. And these are all things that odor really has a very large effect on. Even if it's not going to kill you, it might make you move or make people not come to your business. So there's a lot of reasons to take care of odor, and it's why the Environmental Protection Act takes it as seriously as any other environmental release. So a couple definitions that will help us have our discussion about odor. When we talk about receptors are just people that could be exposed to odor, and there's some receptors that are sensitive receptors that we really care about a lot, like hospitals and schools. Point of impingement, or POI, is a location where a receptor could be exposed to odor. So this is typically the property line. So you're responsible for controlling the odor that goes off your property line, and someone standing at the fence line would be at the point of impingement, and you don't want them to hit an unacceptable amount of odor. If your site is open to the public, say you're a closed landfill, then your point of impingement might be even smaller than that, because you've got people who are out in the middle of your site, so stricter requirements. An odor compound is a molecule that can be detected, the odor of it, by a person.